Amazing. Okay, well, let's talk about The Passenger, which I'm
Okay.
so excited to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Also, wow, Carter Smith, two incredible movies in 1 year. How does that feel?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it feels kind of great. I mean,
Good.
it can
Yay.
take
I
so
love it.
long. It takes so long normally, and so to be able to have two
Yeah.
come out back to back is kind of great.
So wait, which came first? Did you film Swallowed or The Passenger first?
Yeah, Swallowed was first, and then
Okay.
we were in post-production on Swallowed, almost done, and when The Passenger kind of got put together.
Cool.
So like when I was at Overlook premiering Swallowed, like I was about to, yeah, was
You were
I don't,
telling, I remember you mentioned it a little bit. Like you had like
yeah.
little details that you had mentioned
Yeah, so
at
like we
Overlook.
were sort of piggybacking the two of them back and forth, and it was cool because we got a lot of the same people got to work on them. Like Eric Naj, the
Oh,
sound designer and editor, did both. Christopher Baird did the score for both. Like there was a
oh,
lot
that's
of overlap, which
awesome.
was great. Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay, so then how did you get involved with The Passenger? Like when did you come along in the process? Because Jack Stanley wrote the script, correct?
Yeah, but I actually
Yeah.
found the script and brought it to Blumhouse. Blumhouse had
Oh,
been
really?
they'd
Oh,
been we'd been talking about doing an episode, or not an episode, but like a film as part of this slate together. And there was a couple of projects that I wasn't, ready to jump into for a full year. And so
yeah.
like at a certain point, but I knew that it was going to be Lauren, who produced Midnight Kiss, and Lynn, who shot Midnight Kiss, both of whom I loved. So like
Oh,
I
cool.
wanted to
Okay.
make it work. And so I said, like, would it be okay if I went out and found a script that fits in your, sort of sweet spot? And we went, and I'd read some Jack Stanley scripts before that I really loved. And so I just went to him and was like, what do you have that might fit in this world? And he was like, he pulled out The Passenger, which was like, I think the first script that he wrote when he was in college.
No
And yeah,
way.
yeah. And I was like, oh, this is kind of amazing. This is great. Like this is, and gave it to them. And it took a little bit of convincing, but in the end they were into it.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Well, but I love this. I love the script and how it tackles toxic masculinity. And there's also like a lot of love in it, which is really
Yeah.
interesting. And I just wanted to hear more about like tackling all of these really kind of complicated things all at once with two actors who really are able to carry the subject matter and
Yeah.
make it so much more complicated. Like Kyle Gallner's performance is just like so heartbreaking and beautiful in
Yeah.
this movie.
Well, and I think, I mean, that the thing is that it's like it's all on the page. Like it's all
Yeah.
it
Okay.
started out, in the script, and so like we were definitely, in a good position starting out because it was on the page, and
That's amazing.
and it's so rare that that stuff is, usually you're playing back tracking on a script trying to like make things work that don't work. And so
Yeah.
Jack's script was just so great from the beginning. When I read it the first time, I was like, okay, I am like, not only am I seeing myself a little bit in Randy, but like I'm kind of wishing that like a Benson had come and kidnapped me from my high school and taken me on
A little
this,
bit,
like a little bit.
yeah.
I felt so conflicted about it, and I felt so like I didn't want to be falling for Benson in the way that I was, but I was, and it was sort of unavoidable and inescapable.
It
And
is
then
though. I
and
love
what Kyle
that.
and Johnny did was, they were just so, I mean, I think that they were just so amazing in those parts that like, I mean, yes, that the words were on the page, but like as much of it comes down to like how they deal with silences, and the physicality of it, and the sort of the weird claustrophobia of a road movie like this.
Yeah.
So like big theme stuff like that was kind of like it was there, and so it was just up to me to like, you know not mess it up on the way to the screen.
What a cool job we have
Yeah.
as directors now. Don't mess it up. Make it look
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, as long as we're starting with a really good script.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I also wanted to hear about Kyle Gallner's wardrobe, especially that
yeah,
sweater. I love that
yeah,
sweater. I just wanted to hear about like your work with costume and with
yeah.
wardrobe and who found that amazing outfit, because that sweater is everything to me. And I love
I
that that is
love
like our bad guy's outfit for the entire movie.
I love that you love that, because like there, it starting out, it was a lot of like, oh, okay, well, he likes Motorhead, and like, what about this, and it was all like very, exactly what you might think a stock character like Benson might
Yep.
wear. And I was like, okay, no, like let's imagine that he has like tailored his khakis to fit himself better. And like, and I once I got, and the mohair sweater was my idea, and I was
Good.
like, I want something weird and soft that like maybe belonged to his grandmother, and it was probably a woman's sweater. And then I had a very specific, that shade of green was a shade that I showed a color chip to the costume designer, and it took them, I think, 3 or 4 times custom dyeing them to get it that color.
Oh my God, they custom dyed it to get to
Oh
that
yeah.
color.
Oh yeah, that was
Oh
very
my
specifically,
God.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it was fun. And like in the t-shirt was something that we designed, and then but designed to be worn inside out. So it's all like, I just like the idea that
So
he isn't
cool.
like this traditional kind of bad guy shooter, and that like he might, given the fact that he's not needing to wear a uniform, like he might wear what he's most comfortable in. And I thought that that might be really interesting and insightful to see that it's not what you expect.
Yeah. Yes. Loved it. Like obsessed. It
Yeah,
was, again, you didn't go for like a skinhead outfit. You went for
yeah,
something that's like, he's a little bit different, like
yeah,
a
he's
little bit more
a little left of
complicated.
center. Yeah.
Little. Well, and then I also wanted to hear about how you found the restaurant, the location, our initial location at the beginning. And like,
Burgers, burgers, burgers.
yes, burgers.
Yeah.
Like, how did you find this incredible place? Where did you film it? I want to know where you found our fast
uh
food restaurant.
it was at the edge of the zone in New Orleans, so as far from the city center as you're allowed to go in
Oh,
production.
okay.
So it's right at the edge, and it was a little convenience store, and we turned it into, I mean, I chose it because it was remote like that on that desolate corner.
Yeah.
um but like all of the orange and yellow and brown of it, like that's all stuff we brought in. um
It is.
yeah, none of that was there.
Oh.
The booths, the tables, I mean, all of it. It was all kind of, we just used it as almost as a studio
Where
and
did you
rebuilt.
source? Where did you source all that stuff? Did you guys build it, like hand build it, or did you find it somewhere?
Well, like the tables and the benches and stuff were the production designer
Okay.
found, and then everything else was
Okay, cool.
custom. Like a lot of that stuff is just parts that fit together well.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
as much as many movies are, but
yeah.
it looks like such like a cool vintage like McDonald's-esque vibe. That's why I was like, where did you find that? But it's
Yeah,
you built it instead.
yeah, because we couldn't find one that was that
Oh,
amazing, that offered like everything that we needed. Like, I mean, really, it had to be empty outside. It had to be desolate, and there's
yeah,
not a lot of them that were as desolate as I wanted.
yeah. Well, and then so what was it like working with Johnny and with Kyle to develop both their characters, but also the chemistry? Did you help facilitate that at all, or is that kind of just the two of them going off and figuring it out
Yeah, I mean,
together?
I like to think that I helped, facilitate it. Like, I mean, hopefully I did. But like, you know, Johnny's a huge horror fan, and so he was
Oh, cool.
he was a
Okay.
huge Kyle fanboy, and like
Really?
a huge Ruins fan. Like, so he was just like
Oh, that's so
ecstatic to be there. And like,
fun.
both I mean, both of them came in and had that, like, from the very first time that Johnny put himself on tape, like he did a self tape, and it was just like incredibly clear, like, oh, this is Randy. Like, this is, there was just something about how kind of fragile and um I don't know, like, uh, uptight he was, and just I knew that the two of them together would be great. I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about characters, but like
Okay.
actually we didn't, we didn't do any rehearsal at all,
Okay.
other than maybe
Oh,
a little
okay.
blocking rehearsal, so that, because I really wanted all of those scenes when they were together, like I wanted to catch the first time that they were running those lines together on film or on digital. You know what I mean? So that, like, really,
Okay.
oftentimes the first take is the first time that they've
Okay.
actually run the scene. Um,
Oh, that's
which
so
was kind of
interesting.
fun, because
That
Kyle
is
was constantly
cool.
surprising Johnny, and I think Johnny was surprising Kyle, and like, and we get those reactions because we shot everything with two cameras. So oftentimes, we were able to use one take but cut back and forth.
I love that. That's so cool. That's
Yeah.
terrifying to me as someone who loves rehearsal, but that's also really cool. And
Yeah, but if you have actors that are just like, are
yeah, that's true.
so well suited for the parts, and you feel confident in both of them, then you have to kind of trust that
Yeah.
they're gonna come up with something magic, I think.
Yeah, and God, they really did. I didn't know what
Yeah.
to expect when I watched this movie, and it is magic. You've probably heard this a million times. I did want them to kiss. I'm very sorry, but I did want them
Yeah.
to kiss.
You were not the only one.
I know.
I think Kyle wanted that too.
I mean, but I also appreciate a movie about complicated male friendship and not just romance. Because again, we don't get a lot of movies
Yeah.
about male relationships that are platonic. I don't know how to describe this one. I don't know if platonic is the right word for their relationship, but
Yeah. Unstable,
non-romantic,
unstable.
toxic,
Yeah.
chaotic.
Yeah. All of the above.
I also wanted to see, okay, there's a scene where they go to like a Build-A-Bear in scare quotes, and he builds a little alligator. How did
Uh-huh.
you alligator, right? Is it an alligator?
Yeah. Yeah. Or crocodile. I can't remember.
Crocodile. How did you
Yeah.
pick that animal as like the stuffed animal shape?
Um, well, it was all stuff that the production designer designed. So
Okay.
we went through a bunch of iterations of like what that would look like and how easily the seamstress could sew it. And I mean, but that was in the script. The
It
crocodile,
was. It was
giraffe and
okay, cool.
crocodile. Yep. So it
Oh,
just became about like
wow, that's
which crocodile
incredible.
shape worked best.
I
You
just
know?
love that, and like the progression of the crocodile with every. I just love that little, again, like a soft addition to a movie that is so tough, but you add like softness to it in such interesting places, which I love. Well,
Yeah.
and then the script obviously had
Yeah.
that softness too, but the sweater was your choice, so it's cool
Yeah.
the softness that you put throughout this
Yeah.
movie.
And did you pick up on the little pink pom-poms that Benson sews onto his giraffe's crotch? Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Was that in the script or was that
Uh
Kyle's
that was
improv?
Kyle. I think that was Kyle. Yeah. Yeah.
That's incredible, and I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then just to bring this up, I just wanted to, if you wanted to share anything with any of the writers or actors as part of the SAG and the WGA strike, and just wanted, if there's anything you wanted to say about what's going on with that and anything
Oh,
there.
I mean, just that it makes me sad that all of us who worked so hard on this together, like we're not able to kind of, I mean, we're all having these side conversations behind the scenes, talking to each other and checking in, and it's sad that they can't take part in kind of putting this out there, but like at the same
Yeah.
time, of course, like I 100% support what they're asking for, and um you know I, I'm happy to do this solo if I have to, if in order to stay within the
Yeah.
guidelines of the whatever. um
Cool.
but yeah.
Yeah. Carter, thank you so much as always for chatting with me. This is about The Passenger and softness and boys, and it's always just such a pleasure to talk to you. And
Oh, you
everyone, The
too.
Passenger is out now, so please check it out.